Hi, all. Susan Winter here. Thank you for joining me. I have a series that I'm doing right now, something that is important to me. And I think it's an interesting discussion, not just for me to cover, but I would really, really like to hear your take on this as well. So I encourage you to comment and let me know what you think. This is part of my series called The Approval Prison. Maybe it's just the time period I'm living in. Maybe it's just what we're experiencing now with social media. Or maybe it's just the aggregate of all of this stuff coming at us on a day-to-day basis that I find it very daunting to keep perspective of one's true worth, innate worth, real worth. Because we tend to live in a time period now with so much contact and so much input that it not just social media and how many clicks do we have, how many followers do we have, and do they like us or not, but this unbelievable race that it feels to me is happening right now for status, for acceptance, for the attainment of worth from all these external things. So when we look at the markers of our worth, our currency, what is our value? The most obvious are wealth, fame. Well, in America, it's certainly wealth. In Europe, it could be aristocracy, success, beauty, influence, luxury goods, homes, companies, all of this. And it's all there. It's on the outside. And yet it's so in our faces every day. And I think that the constant repetition through social media of who we are and what we have, and here's my bag, and here's my plane, and here's where I am, and look at me, I think that that reinforces this message again, that this is who I am supposed to be. This is success. This is what a person on the rise is. And I've attained it when I have all of these things. And so it always keeps us in this loop of we are never, never, never enough, in this unbelievable race for self-worth, for worth amongst our peers. And this is the first time in a long time, well, maybe one of the very first times for sure, that I've ever started a conversation for which I'm doing what I swore I'd never do. I swore I would never write an article and bring up a problem if I didn't have an answer. Why bother? Just yep, you're complaining. I would never do a video and bring up an issue and let it go. I'd never write a book and not have an answer. And for this, I'm struggling for the answer. Not that I don't know where our worth lies, but can we be honest? It's a lot of work to find it on a day-to-day basis. No matter how hard we work, there's somehow this feeling that it's never enough. I don't think it's just me. No matter what you've achieved, you could have done more. No matter who you dated, could have dated somebody better. No matter who you married, could have married better. No matter what handbag you have, she's got one that's better. She has a bigger home. She has a husband that puts her on a private plane. You know, the old standard that I grew up with for women, it was a very low, well, it was kind of a low bar. We weren't expected to do anything. I guess you had to cook and raise kids, but that was part of it. You were a social secretary to your husband's business. And you looked good and you attended parties and you did all the right clubs and leagues and all this. And it wasn't a big bar to conquer. But now we have to be everything. We have to be on social media. We have to have our own company. We have to be gorgeous. We have to do this. And guys, you're not getting it any better. It's not enough to be a millionaire. Now you're supposed to be a billionaire? Really? So my question to you is, in a time period that was heralded to be the advent of authenticity, what the hell happened? Now, we could turn and point the finger at social media. And believe me, I don't think I ever felt this way as much until I logged onto Instagram. Now, Mark, that's not really your fault in total. It is always, it's not so much the app. It's we, the humans, who are using it. But the thing about this is that it's like a snowball. It starts gaining momentum. I click onto these sites and I'm seeing people that are in my business and I don't know, are you selling a bathing suit? I mean, or are you talking about a relationship? I don't know what's going on here. I'm very confused about where our worth is and how we establish it. Yes, it's external. That's dangerous. Is there a way out of that? How far out? Do you have to have a digital detox and go live in the mountains and disconnect from society? How can we ever make peace with who we are, be where we are, and feel good about ourselves and just let it go at that? Is it possible? How do you do it? I know for me, I have my own little methods, and I think I've made improvements since middle school. But one for me is that I find that I have to agree with my choices, even the ones that I made when I had less information as to the outcome, sometimes disastrously unanticipated outcome. That at the time of that decision, I did the best I could with the information I had. At the time of that juncture, I did the best I could with what I had at the time. And so the concept of fueling our own self-worth is arguably quite an immense job with this all day long. And I know that there are many people who are so successful who feel this. I hear them, I listen to them, not just my clients. I'm listening to a lot of people speak about this very honestly. So how can we acknowledge that humans are competitive by nature, that we like to label and categorize things for our own ability to sort out this life and figure out who we are, knowing that there will be a pecking order in humanity. That's just the way it goes in an animal kingdom. But how can we find peace with where we are today as an individual and start to unplug from unnecessary stimuli that throws us in the wrong direction, that convinces us that because we don't have this, we are not that. So I think in part, one of my ideas, and again, I'm really open to suggestions here, is to begin to notice where we're plugged in to needing that response. When we get a kick out of too many clicks or this or that, like that's a temporary thing, okay? Everybody has their rise and everybody has their, it's just the nature of business. Doesn't mean the value goes down, but it's just the way cycles go. And even money, you earn it, you don't, the market goes up and down. So when we are cognizant of when we get triggered by an image, a thought on social media, a conversation that somebody has at a cocktail party when somebody is going on and on about they did this and they did that, I think first step is to notice when we get that jolt that makes us question where we are in this competition race. And how do we stack up? And do we have enough social currency and worth? And then also, what do we truly, truly, truly value? Meaning, what do we stand for? At the end of the day, when all of this is gone, the beauty, the handbags, the planes, the money, the job titles, when you got a job title that nobody in 40 years knows what that is because it's irrelevant, what did you actually stand for? Really come here purposefully in your life to achieve. What kind of human being were you? And I know that's like, oh, yeah, nice. You were kind. Good to animals. I know it feels like it's trivial, but I don't think it is. And I think that for as much weight as we give all this other stuff, we have to give equal time to remind ourselves what is of value to us. I do believe that people want to live a good life and live the biggest, best, fanciest life. And you want that bag, get that bag. You want that car, drive that car. But what do you stand for? At the end of the day, who are you? Your character. One thing they can't take away from you is your character, your ethics, and who you showed up here consistently to be. Not just for the photo ops, not just to put your name on a building for being so charitable, right? Who were you day in and day out that you were proud of? And I think, although it's not flashy, and you don't want to talk about it, like, oh, I did this, those humble brags, but I think if we can kind of sort that one out and keep that in balance, it might help us keep a little more sane in this rat race to figure out where our worth lies in a time period that has so much stuff flying at us, that is everything but internal and is everything that's transient and external. That is my take on what's going on now. And I see social media triggering so many people to feel badly about themselves. And I'm affected as well. I'm honestly admitting I have to get off these things because I suddenly think, like, I didn't do that. Did I? And then I'm like, wait a minute. Really? Really? Did you ever want that? No. Was that your goal? No. Did you set out to do it and failed repeatedly? No. You're good, right? So please tell me what you do. I want to learn from you. You can leave a message here in the comment section. Please, I'd like to know. Susan Winter for SusanWinter.net. Love to hear from you. If you like these videos and you like the message, please subscribe, tell your friends about it. I would love to get to know you and love to have you join me on my live shows on Thursday. Thank you very much.